Hello, hello.
Good afternoon, Charles.
You get my email?
Did I get what?
My email.
I did. Yes. Your kitty
What?
cat.
I thought I'd take a stab at it again.
Hey, Avatal, how you doing? Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you took a stab at it again. A scratch, a rub up against, whatever kitty term you want to use for it. Okay. So why are you into cats right now?
I like their eyes.
Yeah. Do you have a pet? Do you have a cat?
I just got a Ruru.
A Ruru? What's a Ruru?
My son.
No. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you explained that to me. I had no idea what a Ruru was.
Anybody else calls him that, he'll beat the hell out of him.
I see. Okay. All right. Huh. Okay. I'll have to think about that one for a while. Yeah, Avatal?
There was a lady in one of our classes before the corona, Marge.
Yes, Margie. Mm-hmm.
Margie, is she okay?
No, she's not. No. Margie actually, from what I understand, passed away.
Yeah. I thought that was her. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And she was, I guess her and Barry were dating. I haven't heard any updates on Barry or how he's doing or anything like that. But as far as I know, she is to date the only person that we've lost from the Benson Center to COVID.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Very sad.
What about Dorothy? You heard about Dorothy?
Dorothy.
You know, the one I fight with all the time?
Oh, she's doing quite well. I talk to her on a regular basis.
Tell her I asked.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she misses you too.
I bet.
She does actually. I mean,
I'm going to have to make Lady my new friend.
Oh yeah.
Hey!
Lucky lady.
I'm cheering, Lady.
Okay.
I always like the strange ones. Yay!
Oh, there's Veronica.
Yeah, there's Veronica.
Yes, Larry. And I'm going to tell Dorothy because she asks about you all the time. You need to reach out to her.
Yeah, you
Well, no numbers, no names, no emails.
you don't have her phone number or anything?
Nope. I have none of that stuff.
Oh, okay. Well,
We can help you out with that.
Yeah, Veronica can help you. I cannot because I actually work for the county, and it would be against it would be a HIPAA violation.
Privacy.
Right.
So that by Friday, I'll get permission from Dorothy, and then on Friday I'll give you the number.
Yeah.
Charles doesn't want to be a matchmaker.
Well, it's not about that. It's about us taking care of one another.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, having kind of a circle of friends that you stay in contact with. Like, for example, I stay in touch with Dorothy and Claudia and, Phyllis Hadley. There's a bunch of you, that I try to stay in touch with because it's really critically important that you, connect with people. And even, everybody's in different situations. And some people are in, facilities which are still self-isolating, like senior communities and things that you can't even get into. And a lot of them are not even really allowed to interact with each other, because they're afraid of the spread. But others are living independently and, and you just don't know, it's like, are they getting out, or is somebody getting out for them to get them groceries and the things that they need?
Right.
So yeah, you want to stay in touch with your friends, and you can never have too many friends. So they come in handy. Anyhow, we're going to get started here. Okay. This morning, I think everybody was here. I don't see any new names on the list, but you guys have sent me some interesting stuff, so we're going to take a look at it. We're going to talk about it a little bit. And we're kind of all over the place today. We've got, some painting, but some drawings, some mixed media pieces, things like that. Some of it you would have seen, some of it is new, but we're gonna just go through it piece by piece. All right, actually, let's see, I got to do the share thing here. There we go. Okay, is everybody seeing the flowers?
With the bird, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be Judy's.
Yeah, the flower, yes.
No, actually,
Looks like a bird.
I'm not really sure. I think it was Linda who sent this to me. And I don't know that she's here, but
No, but it was Bernice sent you that.
Oh, Bernice sent me that. All right,
Yeah.
Bernice.
The reason I sent it to you really is because I went to Goodwill
Mhm.
and I found this. I think I heard Jim talk about rice paper, and I want to ask you if it was rice paper or silk.
In looking at it, if I had to make a guess, I would say it's painted on silk. Because
Oh, okay. Because I said I'm getting this.
because this looks like it's painted on a piece of fabric.
Yeah.
It is
Very
it looks like
pretty.
it to me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, and in fact, at Benson, before everybody all went away, we actually had a lady who was teaching a class in silk painting.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, they were painting on, pieces of silk and stuff.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Isn't it beautiful?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, my guess is that this is silk. And,
I'm not touching that. I'm trying to find a spot to hang that.
okay. Yeah, it's a really nice piece. And the thing is with those silk painting things, they're all done by hand. So it's an
Mhm.
original painting. It's on a piece of fabric.
Oh, okay.
Now, as far as, taking care of it, stuff like that, keep it under the glass, I wouldn't mess with it. I wouldn't try to clean it or anything. Even if it had a little spot on it or something like that, again, I would just leave it alone. Because a lot of the pigments that they use, it's a dye rather than a paint. And it's pretty much so permanent. But if you start getting it wet, or if you expose it to a lot of light, particularly like those reds, they're going to fade. Okay, they're going to fade, or they may wash out a little bit. So I'd be real careful. I'd keep it away from like a wall or something that gets a lot of direct sunlight for a long period of time in the day.
Okay.
If it gets a little bit of light in the morning or a little bit in the evening, okay, probably not a big deal. But, if it's getting like full sun during the middle of the day, then I would probably move it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Just want to share.
yeah, it's a lovely piece. And it's just, the Japanese or Chinese brush painting.
$2.25.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
12 by 16.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, it's like, one person's, trash is another person's treasure. And, it's like, people live with stuff, they let stuff like this go. And, but, somebody out there can see that like you and really love this. And it's perfect for the mood that they're trying to set in their home or whatever. And it really is a lovely piece. So, yeah, definitely take care of it. It's it's a nice piece of artwork. Okay. I'm going to share this painting. I don't think that Billy is here this afternoon. I don't know that Linda is here either. But this is an oil painting, and Billy sent me this a week ago or so. And this is a painting that he started. He's still fairly early on, but he's got, all the basic elements in. And, you know, he's working on the dogs, he's working on the raccoons, he's working on the trees, yada, yada. But,
The dog don't seem to care.
pardon?
The dog don't seem to care about what's in the tree.
Yeah, yeah. Either the dogs are like totally at a loss as to where did they go, or, you know, or it's like, oh yeah, okay, they're up there. Yeah, yeah, you know, fine. You know, we got better things to do today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not really quite sure what the story is with this one, but you know, but it has kind of an illustrative element to it, and you know, I've been working with Billy, I guess maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and you know, he's definitely improved at, you know, getting a composition laid down, you know, on the canvas relatively quickly, and getting those big blocks. You know, he's still, again, he has a long way to go as far as, you know, bringing this to a finished painting. But, you know, just to be able to see him do this independently on his own is a big step forward. So, you know, it's always good to see, you know, people progress, you know, with their art. And yeah, there's a lot of things that I can make a comment on, little tweaks and changes and things, but, you know, the main thing is, you know, he is working independently, and, you know, he's not waiting for someone to stand over his shoulder and tell him what to do next, which is, it's good. You know, it's good to see people get independent like that.
That back dog looks like he's sniffing for a scent.
Yeah,
Also, the front dog.
Maybe.
right. Yeah, they're looking for them. I think. Yeah, kind of
I
at a
don't think the
loss.
front one is, but the back one is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think this one is bewildered. It's like, okay, where did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyhow, and the thing about Billy's work is it is very illustrative. It always tells a story. And this is actually one that he's doing, from what I understand, which will be this year's Christmas card. He does a Christmas card every year. And so, you know, he's done some interesting things in the last couple of years with that. Anyway, this is Bob's, and this is Bob's final piece. He did an ink wash and a little bit of line work, you know, with the pen, and then he laid in some watercolor, you know, on top of it. And again, I think, if I remember correctly from what he told me, this isn't really finished, you know, but, you know, he's getting in, you know, all the big shapes. And we talked about it the other day. My comment was, again, if the light source is back here at the horizon line on this lake, then all of this landmass right here, and even the shadows being cast, would all be a relatively dark value because the light is coming from behind them. And so, you know, understanding the light and what's happening there, it's kind of key. You really got to take a look at what you're seeing and figure out why it is that you're seeing it the way you are. Okay. And it's 99% of the time, you're going to get down to where the light is and what the light's doing, you know, on those surfaces. Okay. So, and then we go to, is Bob here?
Bob is here.
Oh, Bob is here. Okay. All right.
Bob is here.
All right.
That's right.
So Bob, tell me, or tell everybody kind of about this piece, all right, and where kind of you're at, where you want to go, what's going on with it.
Okay. This is a photograph. Well, the photograph I sent you the other day, and I think you showed it, is of my niece's husband and their latest granddaughter. And when I looked at the picture, I instantly saw a Norman Rockwell. I mean, there's just no doubt about that's the kind of thing that he would put together. Mm-hmm. So basically, this is underpainting. Basically, this is just blocking it in right now and just making sure that the composition is kind of what it wants to be. And you know, I've done some more work on it this morning, and I've worked on his face a good bit to kind of reshape it a little bit to make it more like his face is. And this blob at the bottom is
Dog.
a
Dog.
black Labrador retriever. His name is Mickey, but he's also known as Meathead. The dog is about 130, 140 pounds, and he thinks he's a lap dog. So I mean, I think he has to be kind of part of this picture. I think I have to make him a little bigger, though, in the corner.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I think you do need to make him a little bigger. The other thing is where his head lines up with the arm, or I would at this point call it a French fry, because it looks more like a French fry than an arm.
Yeah, right. You're right.
But you know, maybe bringing the head where it overlaps more of the upper arm, you know, kind of rounding that shape out and making that a little bigger. Again,
Yeah, make him a little taller and a little bigger.
yeah, that would pull him forward, make him closer to us, and it would also, again, give you a more interesting composition, because you're beginning to create what we commonly refer to as a tangent, where this head and the back of this arm kind of
Yes,
line up.
I see that. Yes, I see that now.
Yeah, and so just breaking up that shape would help a little bit. Okay. Now
You said before you want to do the back of the dog's head. Is that correct?
Yes, the dog is looking up at the man in the picture. But which is hard to do with a black Labrador because he's all black,
Oh,
and it's kind of look fun.
well, he's all
Like a blob.
yeah. Well, he's actually brown and blue and a lot of things right now.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of different color in it. I'm gonna have to be very subtle and working those out.
Now the thing is, and again, I've said this many times, there is no such thing as black, and there really is no such thing as white,
wow.
you know, on this planet. Okay, now in the deepest part of space, yeah, you're going to find black, because black would be the absence of all light. If you get trapped in a black hole, it's going to be black, okay, because there is no light there. And the same thing with white. You know, white can only be, you know, a light source. If it's not emanating light, then it's not going to be really white, all right? And even the white paint that we put down on the canvas still doesn't emanate light, so it's not nearly as light as the light that we're seeing. So just keep that in mind. It's got a value. Now, also, I wanted to kind of refer, because I really wanted to talk about what you're doing, because you're still fairly early on in the painting, right? And
Right. Oh, very early. Yes.
yeah, and one of the things, and I understand your inspiration being Norman Rockwell. Now, Norman Rockwell worked in a way where he did very precise drawings. And in fact, if you were doing this as a quote unquote Norman Rockwell, then probably my suggestion would be that you do a very, very tight drawing. You work everything out in the drawing on the canvas, and then you fix it, and then you begin to build up your color over it, you know, either transparently or translucently, and just put in your lightest lights as opaques. So that's a very traditional process of painting. But if I were going to do something like this, my suggestion would be approach it more like the artist that we saw this morning. And rather than do a lot of drawing and outlining, you know, of the figures and things like that, you know, just create shapes, you know, blocks and shapes until, you know, they begin to, you know, those different values and color mixtures begin to fit together to feel like an arm, or, you know, the back of a dog's head, or a human face, or, you know, the jumper on the little girl, right? You know, it would stay a lot looser, more painterly that way, and, you know, could really lend itself, you know, to creating, I think, the mood that you're after, you know, with this piece. But that's something that you need to make a decision about, and go one way or the other, you know, as far as either make it really tight or loosen it up a little bit. Okay. But
Okay.
the thing I wanted to point out to you is, as you're laying in these shapes, you're, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you're doing a lot of the drawing, with the brush. And
Yes.
and this early on in the painting, I would encourage you not to try to be quite so precise. Keep it a little bit looser. That way you can always adjust things and stay open to, moving things slightly and, keeping the composition open until you work it all out. Okay.
All right. That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. It's just it's a different way of approaching it. Because we've talked about lines before, and it's like when you draw something, it becomes this sort of set, finite decision that's kind of set in cement, and you don't want to change it. You don't want to modify it in any way. And so to try to avoid that, probably I would avoid actually drawing. It would be lay in a paint stroke, a color shape or something, just very loosely. And as you develop more colors around it, begin to refine the edges. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is your lady that was on a bench, or a trunk or whatever she's on again. And, you've got a really lovely job. The flow of the figure works really nicely. The values, with where the light's coming from and then casting the shadows, you've worked on, getting a little more value range in the face itself. And
Yes.
that's beginning to turn, though I think you could still find maybe an intermediate value in there. From here, it probably wouldn't break to be something quite that light. It's going to be light, but it's not going to be this light. It's going to be just a little bit toned down, and then you're going to hit the highlight. And again,
Okay.
that's going to give you a couple more steps to really round that cheekbone out.
Okay.
There.
I think your picture of the little girl and the grandfather would be really beautiful done like that, in that type of painting, a painterly type.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna try.
Because that's really loose. It's a beautiful.
Loose. The word loose and the word Bob just kind of don't. I can't quite get them together yet.
I know, but this one, that's really nice.
Mhm.
The
Thank
lady.
All right, so let's address that, Bob. Your lack of looseness. Okay, as we look at your warm up experiment, whatever you want to call this. Okay, so you got a tone canvas and you just laid in some nice loose brush strokes, and in many ways it looks like part of a field of flowers, right?
That's what I named it.
Yeah, and the thing is, Bob, in kind of the lesson from this morning in watching, this artist's work was the
Alex.
fact that, Alex, he laid those brush strokes in, really not much different than what you're doing right here. And yet when he stepped back, it all kind of came together to make a face. Well, the same thing is happening here. They're just loose brush strokes. And I'm sure that when you're just looking at the piece and you're standing right in front of it, in front of the easel, your feeling is it doesn't look like much. But then when you step back, it becomes.
It's like a field of flowers.
Well, yeah. And see, we're seeing it reduced,
Right.
which is the same thing as being able to step back away from it. But yeah, it is. It looks like a scene out of the garden, right? And so, again, how much did you belabor this, Bob?
Very quickly. If I spent an hour on it, was probably a long time.
Okay. And so you see, that's the point. You can do things very quickly and effectively, and not overwork them, and yet have them work just fine.
The only thing that I did that was kind of pre-planned
Mhm.
was I tried to put complementary colors next to one another.
Okay.
Because that's basically the only real plan that I had. I think you see the reds and the greens next to each other. You see the
Right.
orange and the blues, they're next to each other.
Mhm.
And there's some purple and some yellow in there too, I think.
Yeah.
So
And if you look at the overall feeling of the color and how the contrast is working, it feels kind of exciting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know,
Really.
it has a lot of energy to it that, you know, if you mixed all these various greens and things and then dulled them down with a gray or a black or even a red for that matter of fact, and really muted the color, you know, it wouldn't seem nearly as vibrant and exciting as it does, you know, with just the way you have it. So, you know, that was a good choice.
And the wind is blowing through them.
Yeah. See, people are seeing all kinds of things here.
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah, they're seeing
Amazing.
the flowers sitting there moving, you know, with the breeze blowing. And see, everybody kind of gone to the garden
It's the stores.
with you. How about that?
How about that?
All right. But yeah, good work on that. Okay.
Thank you.
Good work. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this now. All right. So I'm going to kind of run everybody through. You know, we've been doing the challenge, and I showed you guys an early version of this. This is the actual underpainting, and I'll start with it, actually. There's the underpainting. That's just in raw umber and white. In fact, it's mainly raw umber, almost no white, other than just a few little highlights and things, you know, on the face. And it was just laid in like thin layers and washes and built up, you know, to create a range of value. Okay. And then from there, I let it dry overnight. And then I came back the next day and I laid it down flat. Okay. I didn't work at the easel. I just laid it down flat. And I just dropped in, you know, some of this color in the background. You know, brushed it in, kind of pushed it up, you know, close to the edge. You know, I got a little messy and it kind of ran over the edge here and there. And I just, you know, wiped out my brush, you know, or took a clean brush and went back in and lifted out any of the areas, you know, over the face or the hair so that the color, you know, just met the edge of the figure. And, you know, I let that set up for a while and then I went back over the whole figure pretty much, so universally, with a very, very thin glaze of cadmium orange. And again, just to begin to warm up the skin tone and begin to make it look more like, you know, skin. Now, you know, I can come back in with multiple layers of that and build it up and begin to create a lot of subtle transitions. And what you end up with is, you know, a very traditional painting that looks very similar to what would have been done, you know, up in, you know, somewhere before about 17 or 1800. And it's what we call it traditional process painting. Now, again, you know, this was just a study, all right? So whether I'll take it to an actual final paint or not, I don't know, all right? Anyway, after...
So you did the whole girl in a wash of the orange?
Yes, yeah, including her hair. Okay.
Yeah, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you put refinements in. You're going to put the refinements in.
Well, I could keep going. I could keep building up layers of orange, red, green, purple, you know, in smaller and smaller areas, you know, to begin to shift the temperature. And again, you know, push and create a wider range of value and form, you know, on her figure. So she actually, you know, would end up looking kind of round and have some volume. You know, she's not quite there yet, right? You know, she's still just a little bit flat, but, you know, it would be very easy to take her and go ahead and turn form with her by just working with more layers of paint. But again, you know, rather than like this morning where he was working very direct and kind of a la prima, right? So he's scooping up large amounts of paint and putting it down on the canvas. You know, this process is where you work monochromatically. You do what we call an underpainting. So it looks like the thing you're painting in grayscale, and you let that dry, and then you start addressing the color issue. And the advantage of doing something like that is you're problem solving, you know, at different stages, you know, of the painting. So rather than having to work out the color, the value, the proportion, the shape, and everything wrapped up into one like you would in an alla prima painting, in a traditional painting, you already have the underpainting. So you've solved the value structure and the composition. And once you have that, those are not going to change. And then you start working out the subtlety of the colors and turning the form, you know, worry about the overall, you know, color temperature of the painting. Is it a predominantly warm painting? Is it a predominantly cool painting? You know, so again, you know, you're solving those problems, you know, like one thing at a time. And that way you can focus on it rather than trying to juggle everything at once. Okay? And that's the
Can I
value.
make a, this is Bob, may I make a comment on
Sure,
it?
absolutely.
The comment I have is the distance between her, it's a drawing issue.
Mhm.
The distance between her chin and her shoulder seems to be extensive and longer than
Mhm.
maybe it should be. 'Cause, I don't know, it just seems like her neck is very long, hidden
Yeah.
behind the hair between where her shoulder is and her
Mhm.
tip of her chin.
Okay, so if you measure from her chin to around where her, you know, the forehead is, which isn't really the top of the head, it's a little under, and you drop
Right.
that down, right? Then
Right.
her, you know, that measurement comes in, you know, just kind of a little bit about in the top part of the breast line. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
So that what that tells you is that, okay, yeah, either she's got a very long neck and or, you know, she has larger, you know, more developed breasts that, you know, hang a little bit lower. But, you know, in this case, you know, she was a very young woman and she seemed to have, you know, a very long neck, and a lot of the slope of her shoulder was covered up by that hair, you know, draped
Right.
down over it. So you didn't really see a lot of it. But, you know, I've looked at it shorter, I've looked at it longer, and this, you know, for her seemed to be about right, you know. And again, you know, everybody's anatomy is just a little bit different. Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Usually a woman like that is more linear, looks emaciated, you know, kind of thin with longer features because of their slimness and their height.
Yeah.
So that's a normal look to me
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah,
a person in that area.
Yeah. Now
my mind.
the thing is, you know, this young woman, she's probably like 20, maybe 22, 23. She was not like really tall. She was probably only about 5'2", 5'3", but because of her proportions, and she was very
Yes.
thin, you know, she looked very tall, and particularly like
Yes.
on the model stand, she was like very, you know, elongated looking, which always made her really nice to draw, you know, and paint. I always enjoyed her, you know, anytime that she would show up at the Atlanta Artist Center and model for us. So anyway, from that value study, you know, I did this little sketch of the composition again, just taking another step, trying to develop the ideas. And along with this, and I showed them the other day, I did a whole series of thumbnails. And the thumbnails,
Three of them, I think.
4 of them actually, yeah.
4.
You know, and then this one, which is the 5th. But in doing them, you know, I mean, they're like maybe, you know, 4 by 5 inches, the thumbnails. This is, I think it was done on 11 by, could be like a 9 by 12 canvas probably. So it's not real big. Again, it didn't take a lot of time. It probably took like 2 hours to just kind of roughly lay that in. And again, you know, just looking at the composition, you know, trying to figure out, you know, where it was going to go, you know, in the long run. And then with the combination of the thumbnails that I did, you know, in each of those 5 pieces, I saw elements that I really liked. And I ended up putting them into what's going to become the final painting. And again, this is kind of where Bob was with his, you know, with the little girl and the grandfather. Yeah. And so again, you know, it's just kind of color blocks. Nothing is really developed that much other than I worked a little bit on the house, trying to get the architecture and the structure right. But again, you know, I'm just getting the placement of things, you know, whether it's dark, it's light, you know, and kind of what the mood of the piece is. So I still have a fairly long way to go on this painting. You know, I've probably got no more than probably about 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours into it right now. You know, just in the painting part, not in the studies. And then, you know, I'll probably put in at least another 60 to 80 hours, you know, on top of what I've already got in there now before this is finished. So it may be finished by the time I come back from vacation. Maybe. Okay. All right. And then this is a piece I wanted to kind of, again, show you guys. I'm still in the process of working on it. I started it, oh God, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And it's kind of sat around a little bit, but, you know, I've worked on a little bit more. And again, it's a traditional process painting where I've done an underpainting. And now what I'm doing is I'm beginning to build up, you know, the different flesh tones, you know, on the figures. And so my intention here is keep building up the color, you know, particularly on this figure and on the figure in the background. I'm putting glazes over her of blues and greens, and I'm trying to fade her back because really what she is she's a reflection, you know, of a model in a window, you know, at night, and so you just see, you know, the reflection of her. And so I want to fade her back so she'll be quite a bit more subtle than she is right now. But that will take, you know, probably a good 15 or 20 layers of glazed paint and medium over her to fade her back there, you know, to where she's sitting, you know, far enough back at this point. And
are you going to have any start of an image of her on the canvas that you're in front of?
No, I'm not, because that's kind of the whole painting. It's like where to begin is the title of the piece.
Oh, okay, all right.
And so it's like that moment, you know, you're standing there looking, it's like, okay, so what do I need to do first? You know, so it's that quandary of, oh, okay, you know, before I dive into this. So, anyhow, and then this is a piece by Claudia. All right. And we talked about it the other day. And, you know, from what I understand right here, you know, this arm looks really, really skinny, but this dark,
shadow.
yeah, this dark right here is actually supposed to be part of the arm and in shadow. And my comment to her was that she needs to not use black, which she's using here in the background, you know, in those flesh tones, but actually make that a dark color that relates to the flesh tone. That way it, you know, stays reading part of the arm. And the same thing under, you know, under the knee here and here in this dimple, you know, back here, you know, at the top of her forearm. You know, all of these shadows on the figures, you know, they're not going to be the same color as the background itself. They can't be. you know, because they're on her form. So they're going to have some flesh color in there, you know, or something that really relates to a flesh tone. So, you know, this may end up being kind of a dark olive or a red or a brown or something like that. But again, you know, it's going to be a darker value. And you can get any of those colors very, very dark, you know, about a number 8, 9, even 10 value. But they're still colors. They're not, you know, black. Okay. And so that's kind of important. That way it holds together, you know, as part of the body. Let's see. We've got Ilan. Ilan, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is your final. See, you know, you came back in. The piece I showed the other day didn't have this in place, and you softened the edge. You know, all these edges in here. And so, how do you feel about this piece now? You know,
It's a little bit better, but you know, I did my best to my liking, but it always can be improved. And I put some glazing on it, but just 1 layer or 2.
okay, yeah. So, you know, what I would say about it is, now that you've softened these edges down, see those hard geometric shapes that you had there before aren't as distracting now. And so they're soft, right? And that really only leaves you one place on the whole piece that really has a real clearly defined edge or shape. And that's this figure right here and the form that it sits in. Because you've gone back in and cleaned up that edge, you know, with the white to try to make it, you know, a clean shape. And so really what that does is that makes that the focal point. See, it draws your eye right there because, again, it's got this harder outline than all of this stuff out here that's a little more organic. And so that, you know, to me, that works really well. You know, now the question is, you know, what do you think of it? You know, since you created it.
I think this is it, you know, it's like enough, I need to move with my life.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you know.
I'm generally too slow with my production. And I need to be more active on the canvas.
Okay. All right, well, in looking at a body of your work over a period of time, right, you're getting better at this, you know, and, you know, when I tell you to go back in and soften it or something like that, you've done it enough now that you kind of recognize how to mix and blend colors to get them to transition. And so far, you know, as far as a technical piece, you know, how you're handling the actual process, you know, I think this is one of your better pieces.
Thank you very much. But, you know, I'm trying to get back to like painting instead of this clip and stick glue, like kindergarten jobs. So I need to go back to a brush and paint.
Well, you could, but you know, there are many artists out there who work with collage, and you know, they don't think of it in any way as being like in kindergarten, right? Because actually, you know, you can get really sophisticated with collage work, and you know.
Look, I clicked in with collage since you introduced us like a year ago or more.
Yeah.
I clicked with it, and I clicked with abstract art. So that's where I tried to concentrate because it was easier for me than the brush and paint.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's good to see you go back in the direction of trying to, you know, learn more about, you know, painting. But yeah, don't leave this behind either. Okay. You know,
Okay, thank you.
find ways of keeping on working and introducing more and more of the brushwork and painted images in contrast to, you know, some of your collaged images as well. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, because it seems to kind of be your thing. So at least from what
it is my thing.
Yeah.
I click with it and it's easier for me.
Okay. Yeah. And there's, hey, that's a great thing, you know, if as long as you enjoy it and you know, you can make the kind of statements that you want to make, stay with it. Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So, well, we're going to do this one. This just popped up. This is actually Larry's. He's a little out of order. But then again, when is Larry not out of order? Right. So, so anyway, this is his drawing of a cat's face. And Larry, so explain to me and to everybody else, what's the significance of a cat to you?
I like the eyes, so I drew the eyes, and then I said, well, I might as well go ahead and see how much I can wreck it. So I tried to draw the face.
Yeah.
And I backed off and took away the whiskers underneath the nose that you see there.
Mm-hmm.
I got rid of those and trying something else different.
Okay. All right. So
That's about it.
all right. So would at this point, would you consider this finished as you're not going to do any more to it, or are you still?
Oh, I'm working on it as you talk.
Okay. All right. So it's a piece that's in development. All right. So can I make a comment here? Okay.
No.
No? Okay, then I won't. I'll move on. All right.
Yeah, go ahead. Help me. It's a little light, the cat face.
Uh-huh.
And in the original picture, he has a lot of stripes in him.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was trying to actually impose those stripes in him with what looks like whiskers. And
Yeah.
the stripes didn't quite come out right. So I got rid of them.
Okay. All right. So here's my thought, though. All right. And I'm looking at this. You know, he can have all kinds of patterns and everything else, spots, stripes, whatever. Okay. But right now, it's like the bridge of the nose and the eye. You know, the brows are the things that seem to be coming forward in the drawing, right? Which, you know, because of the position of his head, you would expect. But at the same time, you know, where you've emphasized this shape right here in the composition, the lower part of the face doesn't seem to do what you might expect it to do, which is it's right now it's kind of flat, and you've got to
I was
get it.
going to say it looks flat.
Yeah, you got to get it to move, you know, at an opposing angle to the base of the nose. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is you're going to have to decide somewhere along the line here. Okay, if the light is hitting up here, then that means that that plane is turned right in here. And that, you know, from really kind of about here down is going to begin to get darker until it gets close to the edge here. And when it gets close to the edge, again, because it's kept on turning, you know, then you might get some reflected light back up into that form, so that this edge is going to be light, but it's not going to be as light as you've got it. Okay. But then this area right in here is going to get darker. Now, making it darker doesn't mean that we're going to make it black. Okay. When I say darker, right now it's about a number 3 or 4 value. So maybe you take it to a number 6 or a number 8, right? Which
Yeah.
is still a long way away from, you know, black. And I think once you begin to get the value darker right down here, then that face is going to begin to round out and turn, you know, and the chin and everything's going to move backward for you, which I think is kind of what you're after.
I'll see what I can do for Friday.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
Lawrence, this is Bob. Can I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
There's a thing called International Society of Scratchboard Artists, ISSA, and cats seem to be a very, very popular subject for doing scratchboard. And they're all done, or not all, but a lot of them are done monochromatic, which is what, you know, pencil is basically. And you know, you might want to take a peek at that and look at how they've treated their lights and their darks and how they've created the depth of images. So, you know, you might want to just take a look at that in your spare time, and you might get some good ideas.
I was trying to work a little more into, I was going to put cat eyes on a woman.
Okay, well,
And
hey,
see
been
how
done
that
before.
would come out.
Yeah. Well, you could, and that's fine. But whatever you do, you know, just make sure that her chin and her lower part of her face sinks back, you know, and isn't flattened out, kind of like this, okay? So
Okay.
I would kind of encourage you to work on this a little bit and get this to turn, you know, and then move on and try to apply it to a, you know, a human face, okay?
Yeah, I want to finish this and move on to another one. I don't want to leave it half done.
Good. All right. All right. Speaking of moving on, we got Gene Goldstein. Okay.
Hey,
And
Charles,
yeah.
I think earlier I found an unusual sculpture online that I sent you that was, it looked like blocks of wood, and then it finally
Yeah.
turned into a human being.
Yeah. We're not there yet. Again,
I just wonder if you ever saw that.
yeah.
I never saw
Again, you popped up early because you didn't label your piece.
I did not label?
No. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about,
Oh,
yeah, I'm
sorry.
Go ahead and
Okay.
talk about her.
Okay.
Yeah. all right.
Sorry.
Anyway, but yeah, now we're going to talk about Eugene. And yeah, I think,
I'm
Oh, no.
muted.
yeah, you didn't label this either, but I did. Okay. And
What-
again,
What I did was I put the whatever version, I don't know, what do you call labeling, but every time I've done a piece, I put it so the second change or something on it,
mhm.
because it's all the same woman.
Well, wait. I'm talking about, you know, we're looking right
The
now
book.
at the bird and
Okay,
and things like that. Okay.
okay,
Yeah, we're not to the women yet.
okay.
All right.
When you say label, I don't know how to label it. Just put my.
Yeah. Well,
the
again,
second,
okay, listen. All right.
okay, go ahead.
So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put,
Okay,
you know, all right, when you see it on your computer, okay, it's on your
Right.
desktop or whatever, it's got a number or whatever, you know, you're going to highlight that and you're going to type in, first of all, you're going to type your name. Okay, so it's Gene Goldstein, and then you can put an underscore, right? Not a dash, but an underscore. And then call it whatever you want, you know, adjusted image or, you know,
Okay.
bird at the lake at sunrise, you know, again,
okay,
okay, now you can leave the original number to the photograph if you want, and that way it will help you keep up with which photograph it came from, or you can eliminate it, but don't eliminate the prefix, the JPEG, all right? That's got to
It's
stay.
funny 'cause I never see a number on it. That's I have looked on my pieces. There's never a number, but I'll try again.
Well, again, it's not on the piece itself. It's
I
on,
know it's on the photograph. but when you-
no, it's on the file, okay, in your computer, you know, like on your desktop or, you know, in a window, you know, when you're actually looking at your photos, you know, they don't just show you the photos, they show you, you know, like the file name. And so what you're doing is you're changing the file name and then putting your name so that we know who the artist was, and then the title. And then, like I said, if you want to keep the number, you can do that. If you want to eliminate the number, that's totally up to you. Okay. But as long as you got the title and your name, you know, then that makes my life easier because I don't have to download it from your email and then go to the desktop and then change the file name and then move it into the folder for today's class. See, that's a lot of extra steps. When I could just open it up and download it from your email, and if you guys go ahead and do that,
You have to get some help to do
Yeah.
that.
that saves me a good, 10 to 15 minutes of having to mess with
I'm
it.
still working on that too, Gene. So I'm still, hopefully in this 2 week time, I'll figure it all out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you were breaking up a little bit there, Bernice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah. At any rate, all right. So moving on, we've got. All right. So you did this as a pen line. You
All
put
right.
the
Now, my
block.
question is, do you get the piece that I sent that I doctored this one up? I took off where the, on the legs, the blue or the purple
Yeah.
looks
right
like
there.
it's the paint stroke.
Yeah.
Did you get the follow up on that one?
Well, I've got this piece, but I think you sent that to me yesterday, and I've got this.
All right. You didn't get the piece where I corrected the background on this one either? You didn't get that?
I don't think so yet. Okay.
Well, I did send it, so
When-
I have to resend it. I gotta figure it out.
When did you send it?
If not yesterday, I think yesterday or the day before.
Okay. Is it one of these?
Yesterday. No, it had to be yesterday, I
Okay.
believe.
All right. Is it one of these two?
It was not that one. Let's see. It was the one with the background that was busy.
This one?
That one, yes.
Oh, okay.
I did that one, and I corrected the blue on the legs of the lady previous to that. And see, where is there a number on this? That's what gets me confused. The JPEG right there on the left of yours, I see a JPEG number.
Right. Yeah. If you look at this list, right, it has a file name underneath. It says Gene Goldstein dash 1328.jpg, right? This piece, that's where it didn't come with Gene Goldstein. It came with image img dash or underscore 1328. And so it came from an email you sent me, so I just added your name to it so I would know who did it. Okay.
Got to figure out how to do that. I just I don't know.
Okay. It's really not all that difficult to do. But if you're not real savvy on computers and stuff,
You got that right.
well then somebody can show you how to do it. It won't take
That's
more
what I'm going to have to ask somebody to help me.
Yeah, it won't take more than a couple of minutes,
Yeah.
with them showing you how to change a file name. It's, pretty straightforward, okay? But no, I did not get the updated version on that I know of.
Okay.
Okay.
Now the one you have on this, is it 325? Is that the number on this one that's up on the
Yeah.
screen now?
Yeah, 1325.
Blue.
Okay. And then you, like I said, you've got this piece.
Okay,
And
that was the original piece, and I didn't change that one.
right.
It's
Okay.
the other one with the ink on it that I also.
This one? It kind of looks like a duplicate of the original piece.
I had ink on it. Lord, and I can't see the ink. That may be the.
Yeah, I think, again, that's just another shot of the original piece. Now, this is the piece that you did the ink line.
This one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, because you can
And
see
that-
the drawing part of it.
Right.
And you
and
put
that's
color
what-
wash.
That's 1325. Is that it?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's the blue one. The one with the busy background, what number is that one? 1324?
Well,
Very
no.
busy background.
Yeah, this has got
That
the
one.
very busy. Yeah, this
Yeah, well-
one is 1326.
1326
Mm-hmm.
is the busy one. That's
Yeah.
the one those are the two I corrected was 25 and 26.
Okay.
Or tried, the backgrounds and the blue on the legs.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And then this is 1314, which I think was your original.
Original, yes.
And then this is 1324, which is a little bit later. Maybe you kind of softened some things or did something to
I
it.
changed the color of the background, I think,
Yeah. Okay.
and redid something.
Mhm. Okay. At any rate,
Hey, Charles.
yes.
Charles, I'm sorry. I just got back and I missed most of it.
Oh.
But I'm back.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway, Gene, this is another one of your pieces. Now, this is the lion's face. And we
Right.
talked about, how the yellows right here were kind
Right.
of as bright as some of the yellows out here on the light side.
Right.
And what
And I
you
put
did,
some Elizabeth Gibson over it.
yes, you
and so
did.
we-
And there it
and
is.
it helped it a great deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, it,
Pushed it right back.
yeah, see, it just kind of knocked it back a little bit.
Yes. Right.
And so all of
Yes.
that began to fall into the shadow. And it was
Mhm.
just that
Right.
little shift. Okay. And
Very light wash over it.
yeah, and that's kind of the point that I wanted to make with all of you. A lot of times it's not like there's anything big or major, wrong with any of these pieces. It's just little kind of, you just got to push it just a little bit, but you've got to take the time to really look and figure out what it is that's not working and then address it. Okay. Then there was your painting, which is a lovely painting. It's a small image of it, but but we
Yes,
got
it
these,
is.
we got these guys kind of, hanging out there, and yeah, he looks pretty serious about himself there. He's
I'm
a,
lying here for nothing.
yeah, he's a happy guy. He looks well fed. It's like, okay, we've had lunch, let's just hang out. Okay. And then John, okay. I put a few of these in here. So this is the women that John was doing, and they're kind of geometric abstractions. Again, very nicely done. And I really like the use of the color, primaries, secondaries. And then there's your male figure. Again, small image. You can blow him up. And I think this was your final. And what is this?
Yeah, I did go back. You suggested the heaviness on the forearm. I did go back and loosen that up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, just soften it a bit. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, yeah, maybe you can send us a new version of that. And then you also sent this piece, which is a self-portrait, which I'm very happy to see you doing. Right?
Oh,
that's wonderful.
When you were talking about self-portraits yesterday, I went back. This I did in March.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. When you look at it, you know just who it is, don't you?
Yeah, it's John.
Yeah, it is John. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I was curious because you said when you do a self-portrait, we see ourselves differently than other people see us.
Yeah. Yeah, we do, and yeah, it's an interesting phenomena how how our perception of ourselves is drastically different than other people's. Anyway, so here's your reference material and your actual piece that you did, and you've done a really nice job at kind of getting the overall translation of the shift in values and overall proportions and things. The only thing I'd say differently, here is really in the upper part of the head. It needs to kind of move out a little bit wider.
Okay.
Because really the broadest part of your face or your head is really right here at your brow ridge.
Yes, right.
Okay. And you've kind of got it all kind of running up and down about the same width, and it doesn't see it. It tapers.
I think I have the forehead a little slim.
Yeah. Yeah. So just broadening that out, just little tiny bit on each side would begin to make it look more and more like you.
Right.
Okay.
But I thought I'd send it in since you were talking about self-portraits.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm glad you did. This is June. We all know. Now she's looking kind of pretty flashy there, with her glasses and her hair's done, and she's got, her magenta color turtleneck and her red shirt and jacket. So she's very layered. And then this is a watercolor piece, it looks like to me, of her, right? And so my comment about this is, June, you got a little bit of who you are in this. When I look at this, I actually saw the painting before I saw the photograph, right? And when I saw this, I knew exactly who it was, right? So that's good. You've got a little of you in there, right? Now let's talk technique and stuff like that. The area up here in the forehead is getting a little dark and a little bit muddy, right?
Yes.
And so, yeah, you're kind of overdoing the color. It's like move more slowly, put a layer down, let it dry. Don't really soak the paper to where it's like really soppy and runny. And that way you can kind of control where you put those values and things and build them up till you get them, dark enough and or not too dark, right? Now, if something like that happened to me, right, where my color and stuff was getting too dark up here in the forehead, what I would do is I would take, let it dry like you have, and then I would take a brush with just water, nothing else, right? And then I would just, wet that area right there, and I would let it sit. I wouldn't keep brushing on it or anything. Just get it wet like one time, let it sit, right? After it's set for a few minutes, before the water's all evaporated off of it, take a good paper towel and kind of, twist it up a little bit, and then go back in there and try to lift some of that color, out of there, that darker color, and try to lighten up that forehead. And then I think you'll be okay.
Oh, okay. This is the first time I used the watercolor to do it. I don't know how to do it.
Right. Yeah, it takes practice. It does, like anything. But yeah, you've done a really nice job. Like I said, you've gotten some of the qualities of your face and your personality in the painting. So that's, that in many ways is more important than all the technical stuff. Let's see. There's there's you on your scooter in the drawing form. Well, actually, I need to show this one. There's you on your scooter, kind of just with a tone on the canvas, and you're just kind of, finding your way around where things are going to be. And then this is the final piece that you sent me. Okay. And so it's nice to see that, step-by-step progression and how you're addressing, different things at different times. So all of that's working really well, June.
Thank you.
Good job. Lady, I can't stop talking about this piece. It was really, really
nice.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful piece of work. It's really inventive. It's fun. You're reusing materials. And so yeah, this has got a lot of really nice stuff going for it, and you've done a great job with that. Okay.
Thank you very much, Charles. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take mixed media lessons from you one day.
Oh, please. What a joke.
No, seriously, no. It's, hey, it's you can get great ideas from all kinds of sources. Okay. And just because I've been doing something for 50 years, I haven't done it the way you've done it. And so you can always learn things from people. I learn things from you guys all the time. I really do. So.
Well, thank you very much.
Anyway, Larry, Larry,
That's the black.
here's your pieces.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yeah. Now Larry didn't do these, okay, but he found these and he shared them. And they're amazing, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And they're just basically put together with putting, by gluing together and carving these, kind of random blocks of wood. And see what you can kind of create with that.
Reminds you like Lincoln Logs. You build up with the blocks that you glue together. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the idea. It's the idea we saw with the paper sculptures.
Yeah, same
The
basic.
accordion.
Right. Yeah, but in this case, they're like little blocks of wood. They're probably leftover remnants from like a sawmill or from a furniture company or something. And somebody, took those and reused those scraps and made a beautiful piece of art out of them. Actually several beautiful pieces of art out of them. So it's pretty amazing.
Those are sitting on somebody's yacht.
You're sitting on somebody's yacht?
Yeah.
All right. I guess, I guess they can.
It's one of those $600 million yachts.
Well,
owned by somebody named Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's docked next to mine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's on a yacht that I'll never be on, okay? So, yeah. All right. So this piece, which I still really, really like. I mean, that's, have you given me any thought about what you're going to do with this piece?
I got I won't tell you, but yes, I got an idea of doing something.
Okay, good.
Somebody had asked the question the other day, how you started. Did you start with the corner? Did you start with the center? Where did you begin?
Yeah, it starts on the corners. Well, you do the rectangular, then you draw the circle in the center, and then you split it up into, I believe, quarters.
So you do like an underlying grid.
And then that's where you start.
Okay.
Actually, you split it up into eighths.
Yeah, well, it's a nice piece, and I would encourage you to take this, make it bigger, and either play with color, but you don't have to. You could just do gray values, and that's fine. All right.
I noticed in there, I used a pencil and tried to, gray it as it goes around the corners.
Right. And you did.
Cones.
Yeah. And all of that's working really nicely. It's just, I want to see you do it bigger, where you've got some scale to it, because it could be a really impressive looking piece, just all on its little lonesome.
Thank you, Charles.
We got Linda Lim. And she sent these in. There's, some kind of loose painterly flower type paintings. Again, really kind of, it's really nice to see her using the brush and kind of experimenting with it and playing, with just how to get those shapes and lay them down there. And I'm not sure what scale these are at. I'm not sure whether they're, fairly small or kind of medium size. I would expect that they're not real large. But.
It's small. It's maybe 10 by 12 or 10 by 14.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So they're kind of small pieces then. Okay. And have you, Linda, have you kind of considered maybe taking these and, like with Larry, blowing them up and bringing them up to being like a bigger painting?
Let me tell you, this painting is no more available. Did you see the next one that I did? If I do this one and I showed it to my sister and she said it's not very nice. And I say, okay. And I don't want to keep so many paintings. So I say, so I just draw over it. And that painting, the next one. The next one.
Okay.
So click on to the next one.
Yeah. This one.
No, this one. The next one. The bottom one. Bottom. Yes. Yes. So I changed it. I say, let me see what I wanted to do. I like to have learn how to do the sunlight, which I never done it before. So I did the sunlight coming in, and I always wanted to have a deer, so I put a deer there.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So again, though, I mean, these are still fairly small paintings, and what I'm trying to get you to do, or trying to encourage you to do, is to try to do, try to keep that same kind of loose technique, but do it on a bigger canvas. Okay? All right.
But this painting was done.
Yeah.
This painting was done just through imagination, because I always love landscape. So I just paint as what I like. There is no reference or anything.
Yeah, and you don't have to have reference, particularly if you're going to sort of abstract them anyway. All right, now I have a request. Somebody's got people talking in the background. If that's you, mute yourself, okay? Because we don't need to listen to your conversation in the middle of the class, all right? All right, moving
Charles,
on.
I have a question for Linda.
Yeah,
The first painting, can you click on that one again?
yeah, the flowers up here.
Yes. It hasn't popped up yet.
It
Yeah,
hasn't.
it is. Yeah,
No,
it
not,
has.
it hasn't for
Deer,
me.
the deer in it. Yeah.
It hasn't for me. There it is. So Linda, you said you painted over that one? Hello, Linda.
Heard her say she did that. She painted over it.
Yeah, she did.
But I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too. Linda,
Yeah.
where are you?
You muted her.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so
I
hi.
painted over this.
So my question was, did you paint over that one?
I paint over this one, yes.
No.
Can I ask you why?
I showed it to my sister. She said that not so nice, and I did this within an hour. So the next morning I was just thinking, am I going to do another one, or should I just leave it? Yeah. Then 1 week later, I decided I like to do the sunlight. I like to have a deer there. So that's what I did.
I think you should have done another one and kept that. That's beautiful. Yeah. And sorry that you painted over it. I mean, that's a beautiful piece. That is really a beautiful piece. Yeah. And you should not paint it over it. But it's
what medium is it?
Yeah.
Is it acrylic?
Yeah,
it's acrylic, yes.
Yeah, I have to honestly tell you, Linda, out of all the ones that you sent in today, this is the one I like the best.
That's the best one.
Yeah. Don't ask your sister anymore what it looks like.
By the way, what is the medium used?
I use acrylic.
Yeah, this is
okay.
I think acrylic.
I think you did a very good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think asking other people's opinions are so important, but at the end of the day, your opinion matters. And so it'd have been easier if you'd have just put it to the side and got it. Because that's a beautiful piece of work.
Yeah, that's true. The next time when she says that, take her to the art store and buy big canvases on her credit card.
Yeah.
Rule of thumb is never ask a relative.
Well,
okay.
I think I agree with you, Daddy-O.
Yeah. So here's my comment about this, all right? And one of the things I really like about this is how you've neutralized the background, with all the greenish grays, bluish grays, things, and the very kind of loose painterly feeling to it, and how that contrast with the lighter, more intense, colors in the flowers and the leaves up there. And so it really sets up this really nice, rich textural surface that you kind of move in and out of. And again, if this were a bigger painting, this could really be, dramatic, and a really nice piece, when it's hanging on the wall. Because, when you get the distance away from it, it works, it all falls together as, a scene from the garden. And, but it's not a bright sunny day in the garden. It's kind of like this moody early morning. It's maybe a little bit misty, and, you just came out, you're just walking around in the garden and noticing, the things that are blooming. And
what size is it?
Yeah, it's really a nice piece.
What size is it?
I think she said 9 by 12.
regardless, I think it's a wonderful job.
Yeah. And then, you know, she did this piece as well. And again, you know, there's some nice qualities to this, Linda, but it's not, I don't think it's nearly as strong as, you know,
Yeah.
the piece right there. Okay.
Wow.
And then when you get to this, you know, again, it's not anywhere near as strong as that first piece. So,
Yeah, wanting to do something with the sunlight is nice. That's why you get a second canvas. You don't mess up the first one.
Right.
You
Yeah.
get a second one. Oh my goodness. I'm almost in tears. I can't believe you did that.
oh well. Anyway.
I don't have
Well,
sisters, and that's why I'm so happy I don't have a sister. Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
So you have a picture. At least you have a picture of it. That's a good. You have a picture. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can always go back to the bigger one now. Okay.
yeah.
And then okay, so here's the girls.
This one, remember you call us to do something like happy, angry, and all those things. So I did at night, and I forgotten to submit to you, and I just found it.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't do anything. I just scratched it because I don't really know how to do pencil drawing though.
Oh, well, evidently, you know, it worked out for you. You know, it looks like a pencil drawing. Now, you said it had something to do with the emotions, right? So
Yes, that's right.
yeah, so each of these women have a different emotion, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing, all right? You know, she doesn't look particularly happy, all right? So that works, right? She could be maybe a little melancholy and sad. She looks like she's sticking her tongue out at you, right? So maybe a little mischievous, you know, whatever. You know,
that's right.
Yeah, she looks, you know, kind of happy. You know, she's not in a bad place. You know, she's a lot happier. She's dancing around, you know. So yeah, you got kind of a range of emotion in there. I think you could push that much further, you know, and exaggerate it more. But again, you know, keep working with that and keep drawing. You know, the drawing will improve as time goes on. And then I have.
But this is the one.
Yeah, I have no idea where you would have gotten the inspiration for this.
Actually, when I did a what do you call it? Bull painting with bull of a lion, and I fall in love with lion. So when you say start drawing, so this was a thing after that, the 4 girls, one day I decided I should draw. Then I was looking at my calendar that happened to have this picture. So that's where I draw this one. So I'm drawing one watercolor one, but I'm not so good at watercolor. So it hasn't really finished, but I draw a very small one just to try it out on the watercolor.
Okay, all right. Well, the drawing itself, you know, there's a lot of things there that work really well, you know, and you got a nice feeling for, you know, the body of the lion laying down and his legs coming forward. You've got the cub sitting in front of him. And all of like this section, you know, back in here is all really nicely drawn. You know, and then you have this end of it though. And where you handled the legs right here really well, here, not so much, okay? And you really got to take time, really look at those and what are they doing? And the fact is, if this paw is closer to us, you know, then it's going to be bigger, see, because it's moving forward, right? And and again, you know, look at the scale of this to this, right? There's a lot of difference in the paws, even the front paws. And in fact, actually, the front paws on a lion, you know, or some kind of predatory cat like that, are generally really large because that's mainly the tools that they use, you know, to hunt with, you know, do whatever. So those are generally pretty formidable looking. So really kind of look at the shoulders and the legs and what they do, you know, both on the cub and on the adult, okay? But then you get to the face, right? And the thing that really makes this whole drawing, you know, is really the expression and the faces, you know, of the lions themselves. And, you know, you've done, you know, you've got a lot of character, you know, in both of those animals, and it's done really, really nicely. So like I said, you know, there's some really nice things about these drawings, and, you know, it's just, again, you know, kind of address those areas like that don't quite seem to be resolved, and see if you can, you know, figure those out, and it will make the whole drawing kind of come together and feel stronger. But it's, yeah, you've got some really nice things in here, and then, you know, things that you just kind of wonder about a little bit, okay? So let's see, we have May, and, you know, this was May's painting, and then she's working on it, and she's made the bodies a little bit thicker here.
Not to come out. Oh, okay.
And yeah, and she doesn't have as bright yet, but, you know, I think she's still working toward getting more light, you know, back in some of these areas in there. But she's got a really nice strong start to it. This is Naomi. Naomi sent in a little furry dog, you know, and this is very painterly with like acrylic or something like that.
Acrylic.
Oh, okay. You're here? Okay, that's good.
Yes.
And then this is the watercolor version, right? And to me, the watercolor version works a lot better.
Yeah, I like that better.
Yeah.
This was done a while ago. These paintings are a while ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then let's see what else. You sent me this as well. You know, girl holding some flowers.
This little girl I just did.
Okay. Yeah. And, you know, she's kind of turned away from us and she's holding the flowers. You know, the color on this, you know, looks like it could be kind of a, you know, kind of a soft, nice mood to it. But there's something about her pose that seems to be a little sad, kind of. You know, she doesn't look excited. She doesn't look happy. She looks like, you know, it's kind of having a bad day. Like maybe the flowers that she got, you know, are wilted or something like that. I don't know. You know, but she doesn't look particularly happy about it.
Do you think her hair is too dark compared to the dress?
No.
No?
No, I mean, the dress could be lighter, darker, could be lots of things. You know, but I like the hair. You know, my thing, like I said, it's something about the pose that it doesn't look energetic.
Doesn't look right.
Yeah, it's yeah, there's something, it's like the feet seem to be not quite lined up. This arm.
The feet are not good.
Yeah, the arm feels a little too straight, a little too stiff, right?
I got to do that again.
Yeah, try it again. It's, you know, try to think a little bit about, you know, how she's moving, right? And what the forms and the shapes are that she's creating. You know, we've shown this one before, but I really like this one. Now, see, in comparison, you know, this one has a much happier kind of, it's got a really nice feeling to it, right? Because of the color and the looseness, and, you know, it's just something really kind of really nice about it. When you look at this piece, you know, now this piece seems to be more serious, right? It kind of reminds you of like an early, like a Picasso or something like that. You know, it's very intense eyes, you know, on this woman.
I like intense eyes.
Yeah, but yeah, and the thing is, you know, it's you know, it's a really strong, you know, painting, and you've done a couple of these now, you know, like this piece right here, which is beautifully done, and, you know, again, you know, I think that's really, to date, really one of your nicest pieces that you've done. You know, you got this little girl, again, you know, she's got a really nice soft quality to her. You know, it's really kind of a nice mood. you know, she's not like real happy and lucky go, you know.
Most of mine are like that. Do you notice that? Most of mine, they don't look happy.
Ah. Well, I don't know. I've seen some that are, and others, you know, maybe a little pensive, you know, worried,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, you know.
Okay, this I did on a trip. The zebra. I did that. Stan was at a lecture, and I was in the hotel room.
Okay.
But I see. You know what? I see the problem with the behind.
Really? Okay. So what's the problem behind?
I think that the body should be a little longer.
Well,
Something wrong with.
Yeah, it's real foreshortened, but yeah, what seems to happen is that somehow you need to unify the shape of the hip all the way up to the ridge of the back, right? And you need to basically tell everybody, okay, this is all closer to us. And then there's something in between. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But somehow, yeah, you don't, it's like the lower part of this, yeah, the lower part of this, like right around the hip here, seems to be moving forward, which is fine because it should. But you know, you get up here, it kind of gets lost.
Okay.
And you want to see a little more of it.
Just off. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay.
That kind of reminds me of when a woman looks at you and says, does my butt look big?
Ah, and you say, no, dear, not at all.
Yeah, and what do you say in response to them, Larry?
It's perfect just the way it is.
No, just say fine. Don't get too sugar. Say fine.
No, fine won't.
My husband has it down pat.
I won't get you dinner.
Yeah.
Do I? You know what the key is? Do I look fat in this?
Yeah, do these pants make me look fat?
Yeah. And then your answer, you know, or his answer is, no, dear, let's go to dinner. Okay. All right. So this is Søren's, and Søren, I think this is the first time we've been able to talk about this with you here. I think I talked.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I think I talked about it a little bit the other day when you sent it in. But you know, I wanted to go back and look at this again. You know, it's a really, really nice painting. But you know, and I know because of, you know, where, pardon me, you're trying to place the light and the shadow in here. One thing I would make a comment about is over here to the right-hand side, you know, in these trees, you know, you've done your typical Søren thing, which is you've made the brushwork real busy and kind of active, right? But you've also made the color very intense. And I guess my question is this area right here really the focal point that you want people to focus on, or really is it the girl over here?
To be honest with you, I have no idea.
Okay. So where would you as the artist want to put the focal point?
Hey, Dad. Yeah, hold on. Again, I have no idea. You know, I was practicing the trees as I raised the issue with you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I have problem painting trees, and this one here, I know you advised that the trees closest to you should have more detail, like leaves and what have you.
Right.
But then again, if I do that, like on the right, then I take away the focal point. I think the focal point usually should be the girl playing guitar.
Right? I would agree with that. Okay, but now here's the thing: these are not the closest leaves to us. The closest leaves to us are these right here, over by her. And so what I would have done is I would have had more contrast and sharper, you know, edges, maybe more intense color here, and I would have let this area back here do something similar to what you did to these, which was cool them down, loosen them up a little bit, soften the edges so there's not as much contrast. See, and that's what I would have put back here, over there to the right.
Okay, the shrubbery next to her, would there be more detail, especially the one closer to you?
Yes, if that's where you want to draw the eye to, then yeah.
No, that's not where I want to draw the eye to.
Well, it is.
I was concerned that it might distract.
Yeah, if she's the focal point, then you're going to want to make this, you know, the edges and everything over here. You know, you're going to want to make those cleaner and crisper. You're going to want to have more contrast in value. You know, you're going to want those 5 types of contrast all right around her. Okay, and not over here. Does that kind of make sense?
Okay. Yeah, I just now, the picture was blocked by the rest.
Oh.
Can you point to it again?
Yeah,
where was
right.
it?
Yeah, right here. You know, so yeah, you can sharpen up some things right in here, and you're fine with her. Okay, but this area right here, just sharpen it up a little bit. Maybe put some warmer, brighter colors in here. Again, you know, don't blend and soften and gray down things that much in here. And then back here, where the cursor is, over to the right-hand side of the upper part of the canvas, see, treat it more like this. Cool down the temperature, soften some of those edges back.
I see.
And it will move back, you know, away from us, and then this will pull way forward.
Should there be emphasis on individual leaves?
You don't really have to go that far. No.
Okay.
You know, again, you know, just leave the edges and things a little crisper and sharper in here. You know, kind of, you know, basically take what you've done here, but, you know, and maybe cool the temperature down a little bit so that it kind of works with what you've already got there. But, you know, paint it very much so in the same way right here, and then take, you know, this area and paint it more, you know, like what you've got back here. Cooler colors, softer, more muted, you know, blend the edges a little bit so that they're not quite so crisp and hard. And again, you know, that will help all of this begin to move back away from you a little bit, okay?
Okay.
So, let's see.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
This is Susan Adair's. So yeah, she was doing some figure drawings. I don't think she's here with us today. I think she'll be here on Friday. And then of course, there's the wonderful Wanda, you know, and the beautiful piece that she did. I really like this piece. You know, it really reminds me of an artist by the name of Erte, and it really reminds me of his kind of designs. He was I think he was a fashion designer and a graphic designer, and you know, just really kind of nice feel to this. And I'd like to see her go further, you know, and develop this figure a little bit more, you know, some of the folds, and, you know, get a little more light and shadow in on this shape so that it really kind of moves forward a little bit. But, you know, as it is right now, it's still, you know, a very, very nice piece. And then, let's see, she's doing a self-portrait, okay? That's her, actually. And then this is the drawing that she's doing. And again, you know, I kind of sent her back to go back and look at the value structure. You know, where is it dark? Where is it light? Is the head in light or is it in shadow? And in this case, primarily her face is in shadow, right? There's not a lot of real lights on there other than on the left-hand side of her face. And even it is not real crisp. you know, it's kind of soft.
Looks like the cheek on the right has a lot of light or something.
Pardon?
The cheek on the right has light on it, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, there's what you call reflected light, okay? Back over here. And she's getting some fill light and stuff from behind her. But squint your eye down. See, if you squint your eye down, you'll find that there's nothing over here on the shadow side of her face that's as light as, say, the light on her cheekbone, the bridge of her nose, or this forehead right here.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so squinting your eye down to really look at those values is really, really important. You know, if you just try to figure it out by just looking at it like you would normally look at stuff, you really wouldn't get, you know, how much contrast there really is there. And so that's why you always, anytime it's your painting, you know, look at what you're painting, squint your eye so, again, you can check those values, all right?
Okay.
And value is different, again, from color, you know, because value only means how light or how dark a color is, right? Anyway, this is her drawing of her, okay? And so hopefully she'll go back in and play with some of the values and things, get a little more material down than she's got right now. You know, she's doing some bottles, and you know, she's doing a really nice job at getting some of the feel of the transparency. You know, with the bottles that are behind other things coming through. So you know, she's beginning to understand how that works, and so far so good. Sorry, last piece but not least. Okay, she painted this on tile, and again,
That's the one I like.
yeah, it is. It's a lovely piece. Now, the thing is, I think this is another rendition of her. You know, kind of a self-portrait, and you know, and it's got a nice feeling to it, and it kind of feels like her. You know, as I've gotten to know her, you know, it kind of seems to kind of, you know, match her personality. So, yeah, I'd like to see her do this again. And I'd like to see her do
She's going to do it again.
Yeah, you know, and I'd like to see her do it in paint, like on a canvas or something. And again, you know, play with the color and really begin to push some of the light and dark and get a little more form and stuff in it. I know with, you know, the paints and things that you can work on tile, it's kind of limiting, you know, what you can do with it. So, anyhow, well, guess what time it is?
20 minutes to 4.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, we're only over by about 42 minutes today. Okay?
You're doing better.
Yeah, well, yeah, we keep getting longer and longer, you know. But that's okay. I don't mind. You know, I really don't. You know, I mean, I'm glad that we have stuff to share and things to talk about, and I really enjoy, you know, talking to each and every one of you. And
we're getting all the time we can get out of you before you leave.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Now remember, okay, Friday, we're doing
Last day.
Yeah, and Friday will be the last class of this 8-week series, and then we'll kind of be gone for a while. And then you should get an email notification and links from me when I get back before we start classes. And I looked today, November the 6th is my last day off on vacation. So that means that following Monday, which I think is the 6th, 7th, 8th, on the 9th, we're going to resume classes again. Okay.
Hey, Charles, can I ask you, this Friday, what can we cover? Does it have to be all drawing?
I want to keep it, you know, I mean, it's, yeah, we're talking about drawing. Let's talk about drawing. Okay. If we can. Why? What do you want to talk about?
You know, Daniel Sprigg that you showed us in the last session. I'm really interested on his step-by-step approach to portraits.
Okay.
Because I think, well, would that be part of drawing or no?
Well, I mean, certainly there are elements of, his approach that it requires, strong drawing skills. We can certainly talk about those.
Yeah, if you could talk about those, that would be really helpful because I think his portraits are awesome.
Yeah, but
Not just not just technical skill, but the overall composition, design, emotional impact. I really like it.
Yeah. And the thing is, Surin, when you look at his faces and figures, they're really not portraits, okay? Because he's not really after giving you an accurate likeness of that individual. What he's doing is he's taking it and exaggerating it, making it more. So, it's very intentional and he's not trying to be particularly kind to the figures either. I mean, he's telling a story with them.
That's why I'm really interested. I mean, if it's not irrelevant for your Friday talk, I really would like to hear your instruction about that.
Okay. Well, what I'll try to do in the meantime is I'll try to find some things, maybe a video or something about him talking about his process, and maybe even like a drawing demonstration or something like that. Because he's fairly well known, particularly like in the Denver area and things like that. That's where he's from.
What's his name?
Daniel Sprigg, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think his drawing skill is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell he's a very strong draftsman. He can draw quite well. So, and he definitely understands value and light.
Right.
And that's really critically important. So, at any rate, anybody got anything before we go away? Avatal, I thought I saw you with your hand up.
Yeah, I asked about the name of the artist.
Okay. All right.
Daniel Sprigg.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay. At any rate, we'll be back here on Friday morning, right around about 11 o'clock, okay? And then we'll be back here at 2. And
Champagne in the afternoon.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna do a little BYOB.
Yeah, send you off.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have my mug of coffee in hand. So
I have my water.
yeah.
See you all.
All right. You guys have a great week.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Charles.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
we'll see you here on Friday. Okay.
All right. See you Friday.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed the last few sessions.
Thank you.
Well, you made a couple now, so that's good. All right.
Yeah. I had some doctor's appointment.
Okay.
I'm glad to be back. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, hopefully everything's okay. So.
Yes, so far. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye, Charles. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Naomi. Bye, Veronica.
Thank you.
You're welcome.